Hello friends, welcome to Manu Law classes. I am Gautam Dikshit. Today in this session, we are going to look at important topics, national and international both, of last 15 days from 15th to 30th April 2021, which are important for CLAT and other law entrance exam. So let's start with the topic. So the first important topic is Leaders Climate Summit 2021. It was hosted by USA and attended by leaders from India, China, Russia, Canada. Here, the emission target, which was based on Paris Climate Agreement, was revived. So the new emission target at Leaders Climate Summit was as follows. The USA or the United States has pledged to cut emission by 50 to 52% of its 2005 levels by the year 2030, which is important. And also, US aims to become a zero emission economy by 2050. The meaning of zero emission economy is that whatever the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases like methane will be emitted in the atmosphere, more than that will be absorbed through carbon sink or by plantation or by afforestation or reforestation in the US. Japan has also increased its emission cut from 26% to 46% by 2030. Canada has also increased its emission cut target from 30% to 40 to 45% by 2030. China expect that its carbon emission target will peak before 2030. Peaking before 2030 here means, friends, that after 2030, the carbon emission by China will start decreasing. Now, the US has aimed to become zero emission economy by 2050, whereas China is aiming to become the net zero emission country by 2060. China has also agreed to gradually reduce its coal use from 2025 to 2030. So these are the top countries, USA, Japan, Canada, and China, who have agreed to cut their emission target higher than what was agreed in Paris Climate Agreement. Now let's move forward, friend. Now, friend, we all know that in today's world, much of the energy is derived from fossil fuels like coal and petroleum. Okay, so if we want to achieve the target of Paris climate change, that is limiting the global rising temperature to 2 degrees Celsius and ideally at 1.5 degrees Celsius, so there should be some commitment coming from the oil producers of the world. So the oil producers of the world have come together and they are exploring the way in which they can achieve the objective of the Paris Climate Change Agreement. That platform is called as Net Zero Producers Forum for Oil and Gas Producers. Okay, it will focus on developing the mechanism for achieving the objectives of Paris Climate Change Agreement. Now, the important members are USA, Canada, Norway, Qatar, and recent member is Saudi Arabia. Now, from exam point of view, let's see what is India's nationally determined contribution. It is based on Paris Climate Agreement. India has decided to cut its emission intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030, below from 2005 level. Second, that India has decided to increase the share of non-fossil fuels based electricity to 40% by the year 2030. Means India will shift from coal and petroleum based energy production to renewable sources of energy production. Thirdly, India has decided to create a carbon sink by afforestation and planting trees of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. It means India will create a capacity through plantation and afforestation drive so that 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide in atmosphere can be absorbed. Now, let's see one more important data which has come in this Leaders Summit, that India's renewable energy target, it can come in exam as a one pointer, that India's renewable energy target is how much? It is 450 gigahertz by 2030. The next question which can come is that which among the following countries is the top emitter? So right now, China is the top emitter followed by US, but India is not the top emitter. The per capita emission of India is, as you can see, is 60% lower than the global average. Okay. Now, China, India and US have agreed and they have partnered, that is called as India-USA Climate and Clean Energy Agenda Partnership. Let's study what is the focus of this partnership. The first focus of this partnership is climate action and finance mobilization. Climate action and finance mobilization for climate change. The second is speeding the clean energy deployment, means more and more developing the infrastructure for renewable energy, development of innovative clean energy technologies, then decarbonization of sectors which emits greenhouse gases in large numbers, such as industry, transport, power, and buildings, then capacity building in adaptation and mitigation of climate risks. So these are the important points. These are the important components of India-USA Climate and Clean Energy Agenda Partnership 2030. Here in this Leaders Climate Summit, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi also declared that the world should move back to basics and make the lifestyle changes to fight the climate change. Now, friends, let's move to the new topic, new vaccination policy of corona. New vaccination policy of corona in India. So what the new vaccination policy says, the government in the recent time when the corona cases is increasing very fast and affecting all the age group. So the first point in this vaccination policy is inoculation or vaccination of all who are above 18 years of age. Okay. The next point is 50-50 distribution of vaccines. Earlier, the central government was procuring all the vaccines, but now the vaccines will be distributed in the ratio of 50-50 or half between Government of India and others. Now, who all come in others? Others include non-government of India channel, such as state government, private hospitals, and industries who have the capacity to inoculate their personals. Okay, it means state government, private hospitals, and industries can procure the vaccine from the open market at the price decided by the company, and then they can inoculate their population. Now, earlier the government was already running a free vaccination program for everyone who were above 45 years of age. So that vaccination program will continue. So there will be free vaccination for healthcare and frontline workers, all the persons who are aged above 45 years at free of cost at government inoculation center. Now, recently, the government of India has approved the import of Sputnik 5, the vaccine which is made in Russia. So now all the vaccines which will be imported and which are fully ready to use, they will be used entirely for non-government of India channel. It means that the government of India will procure the vaccine only from Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech. Okay, the foreign vaccines will directly go to the non-government of India channel. Now there is an issue of prices. So on the issue of prices, the vaccine companies are free to declare prices for non-government of India channel only, but that should be in transparent manner. So this is the new vaccination policy which has come in the wake of rising corona crisis in the country. Now, a small table. Let's see the variants of concern, which is also called as the different strains of corona and where they are found. The first is B.1.617. It is found in India. It is also known as double mutant coronavirus. there are two mutants found in this virus. One is E484Q and the second is L452R. The next one is B.1.1.7. Where it is found? It is found in UK. The next is P.1. Where it is found? It is Brazil. The next is B.1.351. It is found in South Africa. Two strains B.1.427, B.1.429 are found in California in the USA. The B.1.617 is the corona variant, which is the cause of recent surge in corona cases recently in India. So this is very important. And these two strains, E484Q and L452R, is also very important. Now, coming to the NASA Perseverance rover, this was in news. Why it was in news? So see, Earth's atmosphere is composed primarily of nitrogen more than 70% and oxygen about 28%. But in Mars atmosphere, 90% is carbon dioxide and oxygen is found in very trace manner, in very less manner. So if the scientists want to plan a manned mission to Mars, so it is very difficult. But that problem has been solved by NASA Perseverance rover. So let's see what is NASA Perseverance rover. It is the part of NASA's Mars 220 mission. Okay, now why it was in news? Because it became the first mission. It became the first mission to produce oxygen from carbon dioxide on the Mars surface, where oxygen is very less and carbon dioxide is very predominant. So the mission produced oxygen from the carbon dioxide. The experiment in which the oxygen was produced from carbon dioxide is called as Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE. How much gram of oxygen was produced? It produced 5 gram of oxygen from the carbon dioxide. What is the significance of this production of oxygen? That in future, NASA and other space agencies can send crewed mission or human mission to Mars in the future. Okay, earlier there was the question of availability of oxygen, but now if this experiment is conducted on a large scale, then it is quite possible that oxygen is available for human crew. Now the helicopter, Ingenuity helicopter, it is a robotic helicopter. It is part of this mission. It became the first power control flight by any aircraft on the planet beside Earth. Till now, all the flight which have been taken by helicopter or aeroplane or by rockets have been done from the surface of the Earth. Ingenuity helicopter was the first helicopter which took flight from Mars. Now, quiz. Hope Mars Orbiter mission is of which country? Which country has sent a Hope Mars Orbiter mission to Mars? So here, the European Union, UAE, the USA, Japan, or none of the above. So the Hope Mars mission is of United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates has sent its Mars Orbiter mission called as Hope. Then Tianwen-1 is the Mars Orbiter mission of which country? So the correct answer is China. Okay. India also has its Mars Orbiter mission. It is called as Mangalyaan. It is called as Mangalyaan. Now, World Press Freedom Index. Now, see important points about World Press Freedom Index 2021. It is released by the Reporters Without Borders organization. India's rank in 2021 was 142. Since India has very low rank, so it was put in the bad category. So India is the alone country which is in bad category? No. Along with India, Russia, Brazil, and Mexico are also in bad country. Out of total 180 country, India has ranked 142. Now, who is the topper of World Press Freedom Index? So Norway is the topper. Who came at the last? Eritrea, a country in Africa, which ranked at the bottom of the World Press Freedom Index. Okay. Now come to the question related with World Press Freedom Index. That Reporter Without Border, it is an international non-profit and non-governmental organization. It is headquartered at, okay. So the correct answer is C. It is headquartered at Paris, France. Okay, so please remember it. World Press Freedom Index, the organization which releases the World Press Freedom Index, India's rank, who has topped the list, and where the Reporter Without Border is located. These are all important from exam point of view. Now, one more report has come and which has caught the attention, the SIPRI report, okay, or simply put, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, okay. It has released a report which analyzes the world's top military spenders. So let's see top 3 military spenders of the world. So the top 3 military spenders of the world is USA, China, and India. Let's see how much they are spending on defense equipments. So USA is spending $778 billion. China is spending $252 billion. India is spending $72.9 billion. What part of GDP is being spent in military expenditure? So USA 3.7% of GDP consists of military expenditure. For China, it is 1.7%. For India, it is 2.9%. Okay, so this is the expenditure of top 3 countries. So now Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, it is not associated with United Nations. Okay, it is an independent not-for-profit organization which provides data, analysis, and research for military expenditure, armed conflict, arms trade, disarmament, and arms control. Now you must be thinking that what is the importance of SIPRI report? So I tell you that no country ever reveals their defense expenditure. Okay, it is always a top secret that how much a country is spending in defense acquisition or buying the weapons from foreign countries. It is never revealed due to strategic reason. But this is the importance of SIPRI, that in spite of the secrecy, SIPRI through its research evaluates and gives the data related to military expenditure. Now, where the headquarters of SIPRI is located can be asked in exam. It is in Stockholm, Sweden. Now, just compare, just see. Now, right now we are going through Corona. So let's see what is the public health expenditure or government's expenditure in India. Okay, in health expenditure, 1.2% of GDP is spent in health in India, whereas expenditure on education is 4.43%. So you can compare this with the figure which India is spending on importing the defense equipments. Okay, the new education policy of India mandates the expenditure on education should be 6%. Now the 93rd Academy Awards. It was in news recently. So the 93rd Academy Awards or the Oscar. Let's see the permanent categories and the respective awardees. So the Best Picture Award was awarded to Nomadland. Nomad, okay, land. Best Actress, it was awarded to Frances McDormand for the movie Nomadland. Best Actor, Anthony Hopkins was awarded as the Best Actor Award for the movie The Father. Yoo Jung-yeon was awarded the Best Supporting Actress Award for the movie Minari. Daniel Kaluuya was awarded the Best Supporting Actor Award for Judas and the Black Messiah. Then Chloe Zhao was awarded the Best Director for Nomadland. Okay. Now, let's take some quiz and it is followed by answer. Okay. These are important for law exams. Okay. So the first quiz is, Natanz nuclear facility is located in which country? It was recently in news. So I give you a hint also that it was sabotaged by a terrorist attack. So it is located in Iran. Then the second question is, Charles Geschke was the founder of which of the following company, software company? The answer is Adobe Inc. Adobe Incorporated. Now let's look at the answer. Detailed answer. Now see, the Natanz nuclear facility is located in Iran. Okay, and It is the uranium enrichment facility. The uranium which is naturally available cannot be used in weapon. So it is to be enriched. Okay. The concentration of uranium should be enriched. That is called as uranium enrichment facility. So it was this nuclear facility, Natanz, was recently sabotaged by terrorist attack. Now, Iran claims that it has enriched uranium up to 60%. Is it enough for making bombs? So answer is no, because nuclear bomb require 90% enriched uranium. Now coming to the second question's answer, Charles Geschke was the founder of Adobe Incorporated. He was the co-inventor. Now this is very important. He was the co-inventor of PDF. What is the full form of PDF? Portable document format. Okay, he developed PDF with John Warnock. He founded Adobe Inc. along with John Warnock only. He died recently on April 16, 2021. Now, Inclusive Internet Index 2021. Let's see the important points. This index is commissioned by Facebook and developed by Economic Intelligence Unit. It is a London-based and subsidiary of The Economist magazine. What are the parameters on which this index is evaluated, has been published? Availability of internet, affordability of internet, relevance of content which is available on internet, and relevance of internet in people's life, and readiness of people to accept internet as the part of their life. In this ranking, India was ranked 49th in 2021 among 120 countries which represent 90% of the GDP globally. The top 5 countries are, so the topper was Sweden, followed by the United States, Spain, Australia, and Hong Kong. So please remember that this index is commissioned by Facebook, prepared by Economic Intelligence Unit. AARR, availability, affordability, relevance, readiness is the parameter. The India's rank was 49th and Sweden was the topper. Let's move to new question. Armenian genocide. It was also in news. Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day is observed on, so the answer is April 24th. Now, next question related with Armenia, and it was in news 2 months back. Nagorno-Karabakh region conflict is between which two countries? So the answer is Armenia, Azerbaijan. Let's look at the detailed solution. Now, let's see. See, the Armenia Genocide Remembrance Day is observed on April 24th to commemorate the ethnic killing of Armenians by the Ottoman Empire. Why they were killed? Because Ottoman were defeated by Russians in the Battle of Sarikamish in 1915 during World War I, and Ottoman Empire believed that their defeat is because of the Armenians, because Armenians did not cooperate with Ottomans, they cooperated with Russians. Because of that, the ethnic killing of Armenians was carried out. Now, this is also a very important thing from exam point of view, that who coined the term genocide? The term genocide was coined by a Polish lawyer, Raphael Lemkin. Now coming to Nagorno-Karabakh region, the region is conflict dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The region lies in the South Caucasus region, okay, near Russia. Now one more quiz. The target for financial year 2021-22 for Government Security Acquisition Program or GSAP is, so the correct answer is A, rupees 1 lakh crore. Then the World Population Report 2021 was released by which of the following organization? So see, all the organizations are related to the United Nations. So it was released by United Nations Population Fund. Okay, United Nations Population Fund. Let's look at the detailed analysis. Now see, the Government Security Acquisition Program. Now see, this program is about what? The Government Security Acquisition Program is about is about raising rupees 1 lakh crore in 1 year. Okay. Why? For government borrowing. For government borrowing. Okay. So here RBI will sell the bond and borrow the money from the market. Okay, and it will raise rupees 1 lakh crore. So whatever it will borrow, now RBI is government's bank. So this money will go to government, and government will then invest it in various infrastructure sectors, social sector, and other important productive sectors for India. Now, why RBI is carrying out this program? So whenever RBI buy or sell the bond, the market rate or the interest rate gets disturbed. So this program is for the purpose so that the RBI can raise the money for the government without disturbing the market, without disturbing the interest rate of the market. Okay. So the aim is to purchase the government security of rupees 1 lakh crore in the financial year 2021-22. The benefit is that for government, the government will borrow at the lower cost of borrowing. Okay. And the second thing is that the surplus liquidity or enough cash will be available in the market for the investment. Okay. Now coming to the United Nations Population Fund. The United Nations Population Fund, earlier known as United Nations Fund for Population Activities, it releases World Population Report 2021. The title of the report is very important. My body is my own. Okay. Let's study about United Nations Population Fund. So formally it was known as United Nations Fund for Population Activities. What is the aim of this institution? So the aim of this institution is to improve maternal and child health. Where the headquarters is located? The headquarters is located in the New York, United States. Now, who is the executive director? Dr. Natalia Kanem is the executive director of the United Nations Population Fund. Now, what are the three transformative goals, or what are the goals of United Nations Population Fund? Zero preventable maternal death, zero gender-based violence, and zero unmet need for family planning. Okay. So everything which is related with maternal and child health, that is the goal of United Nations Population Fund. That there should be no maternal death during childbirth. There should be no violence against the woman, which sometimes results in death of the woman, and there should be promotion of family planning, where women have the right to decide when to have the family. It means the woman should have the right on their own body. The pregnancy should not be enforced upon the woman, or starting the family should not be enforced on them. That is the goal of this organization, and that is what this report highlights. Now at Manu Law Classes, these are our flagship courses. We have DU LLB crash course. It is ideal for those students who have finished their 12th standard recently or are going to finish it. Then 2-year program for those students who are currently studying in class 11th. Then we have 1-year program. It is flexible, weekday as well as weekend. It is ideal for those who are currently studying in class 12th or have finished their class 12th studies. Then we have 45 days crash course for law exams. It is ideal for those who are currently in class 12th and are going to sit in law exam, or those who have passed out 12th. Okay. So these are our 4 flagship courses. You can contact us. This is our website, lawentranceindia.com. You can know about our flagship courses. You can know in greater detail by visiting our website at lawentranceindia.com. You can mail to us at info@manulawclasses.com, or you can call us at this 2 number. Hope you must have enjoyed this video. Thank you.